from yourself. The wind outside hushes, as if honoring the moment. The box of lost things in the attic. Yusuf opens a wooden chest filled with forgotten items, buttons, coins, letters, a broken watch. Yusuf, smiling. This box holds things I once thought I couldn't live without. He holds up a worn coin. Yusuf, I chased money until I realized the real wealth is time, spent in kindness. He picks up a crumpled letter. Yusuf, I wanted approval until I learned that self-worth cannot be mailed to you. He places a cracked compass in Amir's hand. Yusuf, sometimes losing your way is how you discover your truth. The chest closes with a gentle thump, and silence drapes the attic. The visit of the dove one serene morning, a white dove lands on the windowsill. Amir leans forward. Enchanted. Yusuf whisper. She comes every spring. Same time, same place. Amir, why? Yusuf, smiling. Because even wild things return to peace when they find it. He watches the dove fluff her feathers, calm and unafraid. Yusuf, this house, this life, was built on stillness, and it invites stillness in return. The dove coos softly before flying off its wings, whispering through the air like silk, torn from sky. The dog that waited, they walk through the orchard, where an old dog named Paha lies curled under an apricot tree. Yusuf, he was just a pup when I failed my third business. I had nothing. No food for him, no words for myself. Yet the dog never left. Loyal, silent. Yusuf, some will love you only when you shine, but a rare few will sit beside your shadows. He kneels and scratches the dog behind the ears. Yusuf, honor those who stay, in success and stillness both. Amir watches, touched by this quiet loyalty. The page never turned that evening. Yusuf opens a book with a blank final page. Yusuf, I never wrote the ending, because success is never finished. He hands Amir the pen. Yusuf, this next chapter is yours. Amir hesitates, overwhelmed. Why? Yusuf calmly. You've watched my struggle, felt my failures, heard my truths. Now, write your own. But do it gently, with care. The pen feels warm in Amir's hand. The page waits, and the fire hums softly. Imagine a candle flickering quietly beside you, a dog curled at your feet, a page open on your lap. You are part of this story now, and the story is safe, and warm, and slow. Let your breath carry you toward sleep like a boat on velvet. Water, the journey of an old man's success. The river he couldn't cross one late afternoon. Yusuf takes Amir to a quiet riverbank where willows bow their heads over rippling water. The river flows steadily soft, but firm in its path. Yusuf, staring across. There was a time I stood here, desperate to get to the other side. He tosses a pebble, watches the ripples. Yusuf, but I couldn't swim, and I had no boat. So I waited, cursed the water, blamed the current. Amir sits beside him, quiet. Yusuf, gently. Then I realized, maybe I wasn't meant to cross yet. Maybe the river was still teaching me patience. He smiles faintly. Yusuf, when I was ready, the bridge came, because I'd earned it. The river hums, endless and forgiving, the compass of conscience later. Yusuf shows Amir a tiny compass strung on a leather cord. Yusuf, this belonged to a man I once worked for, a rich man, clever but cruel. He remembers the day the man offered him double. Wages to lie about a shipment. Why, USUF? I said no, lost the job. But I kept this compass because that day my own compass pointed true. He places the compass around Amir's neck. Why USUF softly? Success that asks you to betray your soul is not success, it's theft from yourself. The needle trembles, then points north steady, even in stillness. The night he couldn't sleep, there was a night, Yusuf says, when his debts were high and hope was low. He hadn't eaten, he hadn't laughed in days. Why USUF? I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. I counted regrets instead of sheep. He turns to Amir. Why USUF? But do you know what saved me? Not money, not magic. A neighbor knocked, brought me soup, sat with me in silence. Amir's eyes well slightly. Why us UF smiling? Kindness is the bridge between despair and dawn. And that was the first night he slept again. Not because his problems ended, but because someone cared. The plant that never bloomed us of shows. Amir, a potted plant on the windowsill, green, healthy, but without flowers. Why USUF? For 12 years I watered this. No bloom, not once. People told me to throw it away. Amir asks, why didn't you? Yusuf, because growth isn't always seen, it's felt. He points to the roots curling through the pot's bottom. Why USUF? It taught me to love things without asking them to dazzle me. He smiles. Why USUF? Softly. Be that kind of man, Amir. One who nurtures, not demands. The plant sways slightly, as if bowing. The rock that taught him stillness on a high hill. Yusuf shows Amir a massive stone grey, unmoved by decades of wind and rain. Why USUF? I used to sit here when life was loud. This stone never moved. Even when I did, he touches the rock. Why USUF? I learned to be still, not inactive, but present. That's how I survived storms. He places Amir's palm against the cool stone. Yusuf, remember, stillness is not weakness. It is strength in disguise. The wind blows gently, but the stone remains. And so does peace. Now feel the cool stone in your palm, the warm quilt across your chest, the flutter of old pages as a breeze passes through memory. You are resting in a world of gentleness, a story filled with truth, a silence filled with meaning. Let sleep find you, as softly as Yusuf's final lessons. The journey of an old man's success. The morning he forgave Yusuf pours warm tea into clay cups as a gentle sunrise glows through the window. He turns to Amir, eyes softer than ever. Yusuf, there was a man who wronged me deeply, stole money, spread lies. I carried anger like a stone in my chest for years. Amir listens quietly. Why USUF with a breath? But one day, I looked in the mirror and saw that I had become tired. Not from work, but from holding pain. He sips his tea slowly. Yusuf, so I forgave him. Not because he deserved it, but because I deserved peace. The steam rises between them, and with it, old burdens lift. The lamp left in the window in the hallway. Amir notices an old oil lamp on a shelf. Dusty but unbroken dot. YUSUF. During the war, I kept that lamp lit every night. Not because I needed the light, but in case someone else did. Amir's brow. FURROWS. YUSUF. A neighbor once said it saved her husband's life. He saw it from the hills and knew where to return. He hands the lamp to Amir. YUSUF, gently. Your kindness may guide someone home, even if you never know it. The lamp feels warm, and suddenly, so does the world. The thread of legacy Yusuf shows Amir an embroidered cloth of family heirloom, passed down generations. Names are stitched across its edge, dates, places, even prayers. Why Yusuf? Every man weaves something. A legacy, a trace. He points to a small, empty square. Yusuf, that space is yours. Amir, but what if I fail? Yusuf leans in. Why Yusuf whispers. Then your thread teaches others how to rise. They fold the cloth gently, like folding a blessing, the seashell of silence down by the shoreline. Yusuf and Amir walk along sand damp with evening tide. Yusuf picks up a seashell and places it against Amir's ear. Yusuf, do you hear the sea? Amir smiling. Yes, Yusuf, that sound lives inside the shell, because it listens, not because it speaks. He places a hand over Amir's heart. Yusuf, you don't always have to be loud to be strong. Sometimes the quietest people carry the greatest oceans. Waves wash over their feet. Stillness dances. The final light one night, Yusuf lights a single lantern in the garden. Stars blink above. He sits in silence beside Amir for a long while. Then, softly, Yusuf, my journey is slowing. My bones ache, but my heart is full. He looks at Amir not as a boy, but as a man now. Yusuf, everything I've told you, it's not just for you, it's for your children, and theirs. He reaches for Amir's hand. Yusuf, promise me this, that you'll pass on the light. Never let it die in your hands. Amir nods, eyes wet, voice steady. Amir, I promise. Now the stars are above you, the waves beside you, the candle inside you. You've walked the path of a good man's life, seen the quiet triumphs, the soft victories, the humble wisdom, and now you rest, with a heart full of stories and eyes closing, gently. The journey of an old man's success, the last bed built in a quiet room lit by golden dusk. Yusuf shows Amir a bed frame he built long ago, smooth, sturdy, carved with his own initials beneath the wood. Yusuf, I made this before you were born, each piece sanded by hand, every joint tested. He runs his fingers over the grain. Why Yusuf? Build your life the same way, Amir, with care, with your name etched gently into your effort. He lies back slowly, the frame creaking softly. Yusuf, smiling, even where you rest. Let it be earned. Amir watches, heart steady, rooted in reverence. The bundle of unspoken words from under his pillow. Yusuf pulls a small bundle, letters, never sent, notes never read. Yusuf, these I wrote when I had no one to speak to, when my thoughts were heavier than my hands. He hands them to Amir. Yusuf, don't be afraid to write, even if no one will read it. The page listens, and sometimes listening is the most healing gift.